The golden child's fall, when favoritism backfired. Growing up, my younger sister, Emily, was the golden child. I'm not exaggerating, she literally got everything. From brand new vacations to private lessons in anything she wanted, to gadgets and clothes that were always the latest style. Meanwhile, I got hand-me-downs, thrift store finds, and constant reminders that I should be grateful for what I had. It started early. I was 10 when I begged my parents for a summer art camp. We just don't have the money, they said. Emily, on the other hand, signed up for competitive gymnastics that same summer, coaching, gear, travel, $15,000 gone in a few weeks. I remember sitting in my room, staring at my blank sketchbook, realizing that life just wasn't fair. By 12, the disparity was glaring. My teeth were crooked, and I desperately needed braces. I asked my parents, promised to contribute some savings from babysitting jobs, and was told the same thing. We can't afford it right now. Emily, meanwhile, was starting horseback riding lessons. They bought her a new horse, saddle, and riding gear that would last years. I couldn't comprehend it at the time, but I'd later realize how much favoritism had shaped our childhood. At 14, things got worse. Emily wanted to compete in gymnastics meets across the state. Suddenly, my parents had money for flights, hotel rooms, uniforms, and coaching. I got one modest birthday gift that year, a sweater from a discount store. Meanwhile, Emily got a designer backpack, gymnastics shoes, and a phone that cost more than my first laptop. By 16, the contrast was unbearable. Emily received a brand new SUV for her birthday. I had a clunker that rattled, stalled, and barely passed inspection. Every milestone she reached came with celebration, gifts, and public praise. When I reached the same milestones, it was either save your money or maybe next year. I grew quiet, resentful, and determined that one day, I'd have the last laugh. Emily was reckless, but my parents never noticed or ignored it. At 18, she received her first speeding ticket. My parents handled it quietly, paid the fine, and gave her a warning. No real consequences. I remember thinking, this is how she's always going to get away with everything. Then came the first DUI. My parents scrambled to cover legal fees and sent her to a rehab program. Suddenly, their golden child had to face a small consequence, but still, their money covered it all. 6 months later, she made it worse. A second DUI, reckless driving, driving without insurance, and evading police. And then, the social media blast. Someone from our town posted the arrest records online. Everyone knew. Her reputation, and by extension, my parents' reputation, took a hit. When my parents tried to hush me, I refused to stay quiet. I reminded them, calmly and with precision, of all the times I had been denied opportunities for lack of funds, my braces, lessons I wanted, even basic necessities. Meanwhile, Emily had every dream funded, every whim indulged, and every mistake covered by parental money. Funny, I said with a smirk, how quickly the golden child's luck runs out when the rules actually apply to them. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. My parents suddenly realized that all the favoritism and indulgence hadn't prepared Emily for the real world. Money and gifts couldn't shield her from accountability this time. The legal costs alone were astronomical. Thousands in attorney fees, court fines, rehab bills. The second DUI became a viral topic in our small town. Friends and distant relatives started whispering. My parents' image as perfect, doting parents crumbled under the weight of their indulgence. Emily herself didn't know how to handle it. She called me crying one night, begging for advice. I gave her none. I listened quietly, reminded her that life had consequences, and let her stew in the reality she had avoided for years. Meanwhile, I quietly moved forward. I got my braces, finally fixed my teeth, and bought a reliable car with my own savings. I finished college with honors, landed my first big job, and even managed to put a down payment on a small condo. I didn't flaunt my achievements, but every time Emily complained about court dates, fines, or ruined reputation, I reminded myself that patience, hard work, and integrity had finally paid off. For the first time in my life, the scales were balanced. My parents' favoritism had backfired spectacularly. Emily was forced to face consequences, and I was finally free of being the overlooked sibling. Looking back, the favoritism didn't just hurt me, it hurt Emily. She never learned responsibility, patience, or the value of hard work. She had been wrapped in indulgence her whole life, and now reality was hitting her hard. As for me, I learned that life doesn't always give immediate justice, but persistence, patience, and standing up for yourself eventually do.